Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to the Nintendo Switch discussion video. Today I got two topics that I want to discuss with you guys, so let's go ahead and jump right in. And the first one that I want to talk about is how Nintendo needs to reclaim their own fan base before they go out dipping out into other things. Now I understand third-party support is extremely important. I agree. Western third-party support, Eastern third-party support, European third-party support, any type of games that you can get from anywhere is definitely welcome, but here's the thing that Nintendo needs to do, guys. Nintendo sold over 60 million Nintendo 3DS consoles with limited third-party support. Now, they had Japanese developers making games for the Nintendo 3DS, but Western developers did not care about that system, and yet the system still sold over 60 million units worldwide, and probably could have sold more if it didn't flub so bad out of the gate, and Nintendo kind of handled things a little bit better with the architecture and with the features of the system, instead of having stability patch after stability patch, instead of actually adding real features to the device and make it more modern. I definitely think it could have done better, but still, 60 million, okay, I guess. And if you look at the Nintendo Wii U, really bad, right? 13.6 million, something like that. So obviously their worst selling main home console of all time. Now with this device, the Nintendo Switch, they're kind of combining things a little bit, so the Nintendo Switch is going to be effectively a replacement for the Wii U and for the Nintendo 3DS in due time. They're still going to support that. Nintendo needs to reclaim their own fan base first. That's the biggest thing for Nintendo to do. That's why I keep saying, yes, third-party support is important, but the right third-party support. Obviously, you want to have everything, but you're not going to get everything. That's just the fact of the matter. Some people cannot process that in their head. They come on the videos, they go to the comment section, they automatically say, oh, if Nintendo doesn't get Western third-party support, they're going to die. Nobody's going to buy the system. No, because Western third-party support was not on the Nintendo 3DS. This is a hybrid of some forms. They're saying it's a home console first and foremost, which it is, but it's still going to be able to play those mobile type of games, and mobile developers, or 3DS developers I should say, are gearing up to support this device, like Level 5 for example, who usually make 3DS games. They're making games on this. The Bravely Default team, Silicon Studio, who's mainly on 3DS for the most part, has expressed high interest in developing it. Actually, no, not high interest, was actually listed as one of the developers in the first sheet that they had as far as who's going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch. So you're going to be getting 3DS developers, people who did portables, and you're going to be getting Nintendo's home console. Nintendo needs to make sure that they get all of those 3DS dudes to buy this system, because the 3DS dudes did not buy the Wii U. Very limited amount. If you're selling 60 million units of the Nintendo 3DS, you should have had a bigger percentage of those people purchase the Nintendo Wii U, and I understand there's repeat buyers in there. I think I have 4 Nintendo 3DS systems, so even if you chop that number by 20 million, that's still 40 million people, unique individuals, that at least should have bought the Nintendo Wii U. And if you subtract what Nintendo Wii U actually sold, so let's just say 13 million of those people also had it. That's still, what, 20 million or so? That's still a lot of people who should have bought it, who purchased a Nintendo 3DS but didn't purchase a Wii U. So Nintendo needs to reclaim those dudes first. I understand, guys. Western third-party support, if Nintendo ever wants to get as big as the Sony PlayStation, they definitely need to make sure that they get all of that support. But it's not going to come overnight, and it's not going to be easy just because Nintendo is doing things slightly different, because they have those two successful, or at least traditionally successful divisions with your portable and your home console. You have to do something to address both of them, but you have to have an economical solution to it. You can have a Nintendo Switch console that costs $399 and that is super powerful. I think it'll do okay, but then again, you're not going to get all of the mobile developers to develop on that because they might not have the money to do so. So it's really a balancing act as far as what Nintendo has had to do with this system. It's tough. It's definitely not easy. Sony's had their struggles in the mobile game department as well, from their PlayStation phone all the way to their PS Vita, and even the PSP. For as many units as it sold, software sales were kind of trash on that device. So that's the thing that everyone is kind of dealing with when it comes to having a home console and a portable division. I think Nintendo's trying to take the best route. Are they going to make mistakes along the way? Of course they are. We're all human. Nobody's going to be perfect. Not the PlayStation, not Microsoft, not Nintendo. Nobody's going to make every single decision that you like, or every single decision is going to be great. All Nintendo can do really is put out their best effort when it comes to software and make sure that they listen to the fans as far as adding features and functionality, and let the rest take care of itself. So that's the one thing that I do want to say, is that Nintendo needs to make sure that they sell to those Nintendo 3DS dudes first. So how do you do that? I think you need the right third-party games. Japanese developers are going to be key, and actually that's what they're getting first and foremost. There's a lot of Japanese developers that are listed to develop for the Nintendo Switch, like Level 5, like Square Enix. Nintendo needs to keep going with those guys. Atlus is also listed on there. They need to make sure that they can get all of those Persona games, at least try to get Atlus's big games on the Nintendo Switch. They need to make sure that they reclaim Japan and get that install base up of the Nintendo Switch. If sales go good, and if Nintendo can get some of the Western support that they do have, because Take-Two is listed, EA is listed, some other developers are too, Western Activision is also listed, then they can potentially have success and get more Western support. But it's not going to come overnight. It's going to be something that they have to earn. It's not going to be given to them. It has to be earned. And the way to do that is definitely making sure that the system sells, and third-party games, as far as Japanese developers, games sell too. Because Nintendo 3DS was fantastic when it came to Japanese third-party developers. A lot of developers on there had success with it, from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. The Yokai Watch games have always sold really well. So imagine all of those games now coming to the Nintendo Switch. That's a home console, and in addition to that, it's also a portable. I see that as being a success, even with limited Western third-party support, just like the Nintendo 3DS was. Now, let's move on to the next topic here, and that's how the Nintendo Switch is literally the most traditional console Nintendo has made since the GameCube. Honestly, if you look back, and I talked about this on Twitter, I talked about it a little bit in some of my videos, but I really wanted to dig deep into this. There was an article, I forget from where it was, but they talked about how, seriously, like, this device, if you just want to sit down and play games like you played back on the GameCube, or on the N64, on the Super Nintendo, or even on the NES, aside from all those wacky peripherals the NES had, this is it. This is definitely it. If you just love Nintendo games and you just want to play, you don't want to have to worry about looking back and forth between the gamepad and the TV screen, or a Wiimote, plugging your controllers into there, or using IR to shoot certain things, or using IR and different types of motion control gimmicks. The Nintendo Switch is definitely your console. It's seriously the most traditional. You can sit down with a Pro Controller and just play every single game, and I think it's very important to make sure that I clearly say that, guys. If you just want to play the Nintendo Switch with the Pro Controller, every single game, from what we know at this point, is supported with standard controls. Whether you take the two Joy-Cons and you put it together with the grip, or you play with them separately, they all have the buttons on there. That's all you need if you're looking for a traditional Nintendo experience. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm tired of looking back and forth between two screens. I'm tired of switching off between controllers, because, guys, trust me, I'm right there with you. I want to have innovative games. I want to have new ways to play, but at the same time, I don't want the new ways and innovative stuff that they try to do interfere with the actual core game. And I think that's what the Wii and the Wii U did. It's exciting to see cool stuff like what Xenoblade did and what Tokyo Mirage Sessions was doing, like with the gamepad and certain things. But the problem with both of those games, and those are two of my favorite games on the Wii U, is that they actually hinder the experience for someone who just wants to play with a normal controller. Those games actually require a Pro Controller and a Wii U gamepad to play. You can't just play it with one controller, and to me that is terrible game design in order to just say we need to use this controller. We need to use it, because Xenoblade Chronicles X, you have to use for like the mining and all that. You have to use the gamepad. You can't just have the overlay come up on the TV screen and just use your Pro Controller. And I did not like that, switching between those two controllers. Same thing goes for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. All of the conversations, for some reason, you have to look down as if it was actually at a cell phone and look at the Wii U gamepad, even if you're using the Pro Controller. This is what the Nintendo Switch does different, guys. You do not have to look down at anything, use two controllers. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to switch between two controllers if I opt to play with traditional controls in my game. Even dating back to the Wii, you have certain games, oh, well, you have to use the IR for certain things, then use the regular controls, like I think Metroid Other M did that, where you have to switch back and forth with the controller. I mean, it's the same controller, but you have to move it physically. I don't want to do that in my games. And this device, Nintendo Switch, is finally getting rid of all that junk that comes into what Nintendo has tried to do in the name of innovation, which I think sometimes hinders the gameplay experience. So I love the fact that this device, you can just sit down and just play it with a normal controller. I mean, we've looked at what Nintendo has done over the years, and trust me, I commend them. Like, that's cool that they're trying to do something new, they're trying to do something different, but at the same time, I think it's also driven away whatever potential sales that they can get from core gamers, because a lot of core gamers really just want to sit down and play a game. What I love about what they're doing with this device as far as innovation goes is the fact that they're actually having just practical things. Like, okay, fine, you can sit there, you can take off the Joy-Con controllers, and you can have multiplayer right there with your friends. Okay, that's not anything super crazy, right? I mean, it might be a little awkward with those tiny Joy-Con controllers, but at the same time, it's nothing super gimmicky. It's just letting someone play right there with one device, right? And if you look at, hey, it can be a home console, and then you can take it and also be portable. Nothing super gimmicky about that. You still play it with traditional controls. It just goes from your home to wherever else you want to play. I just kind of see that as functionality or added features to something, added features to a device that you would not normally get that as far as a home stationary console goes. So for me, I don't really see anything super gimmicky or anything like that. I just see something that it's different. It's just a little bit different from what you'd normally see from a home console. It's a home console as far as power goes and as far as that, but it has the flexibility of a portable device. I mean, it's simple, right? I really like the way that they're going with this. I mean, I've seen some of the rumors, and I've talked about that here on this channel as far as the gigabytes, as far as the RAM, and as far as all this stuff. It's like, okay, whatever. You know, that's fine. But when Fire Emblem comes out, it's going to look like fire. I mean, pardon the pun there, but it's going to be fire when that game comes out. It's going to look and play amazing, because the Nintendo 3DS title, well, it didn't look that amazing, but it sure as hell played amazing. And that, how much RAM does the Nintendo 3DS have? It's like the most minuscule amount that you can have. So imagine that with 3 to 4 gigabytes, whatever the case is, 3 gigabytes, one for the OS, however they do it. Imagine that, like Fire Emblem, on there, on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, yo, that's going to be so decent, because Fire Emblem, to me, as far as Fire Emblem Conquest and all that, that's better than most of the modern games that come out today that look way better. So for me, yes, graphics are important, trust me. Graphics are important, I know that, but I'm looking forward to seeing how good it looks, plus how good it plays as well. So yes, there's going to be some issues with the Nintendo Switch. Yes, it's not going to be maybe as powerful as some would hope. Maybe it doesn't have this or that. But the fact that they're just saying, hey, we finally heard you after a decade of Wii U gamepads and motion controls and switching between them, you can just sit there and play Nintendo games, and developers can just focus on the game design, focus on the standard gameplay, and innovate within those games, because Fire Emblem to me is innovative, and many of Nintendo's games that just use standard controls can be just as innovative as motion controlled games. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you for the next video. Peace.